Hello, my name is Tess and this is Lily. She will be lying with us today because she likes to think it's very fun to bark during events. So she's finding her own calm here. So you might know me as Boots from SplashNBoots, and more recently I have started a new project which is called the Big Heart Journey. And the Big Heart Journey is basically helping children develop resilience and practice empathy and find their own calm. Basically, it's a way, it's things we can do to help kids move through big feelings. And I have had the absolute privilege of working with lots and lots of children on the spectrum through SplashNBoots. And then this year I've had the privilege of getting to spend more time with them and really, really feel about how we can help in those big feeling moments to move through them in ways that are fun and interesting, and also that they will remember over and over and over again. So basically, we do some meditation techniques, we do lots and lots of dancing, we do moving, and I think that there is something around the word meditation, which people think like, oh, I have to sit still, for 15 minutes. How am I going to do that? My kid will never do that. And the thing is, we don't do that in the Big Heart Journey. The Big Heart Journey is all about finding active ways to move through feelings. So I have really, really found that these techniques work. Well, they work with all children, and we have tons of kids on the spectrum who do it, and they find that it really, really helps in those meltdown moments. I do not like to use the word meltdown because I find that the word meltdown, it sort of adds a negative connotation to it. And so we use the word big feeling moments. So sometimes those big feeling moments are quite dysregulated. And in the Big Heart Journey, we say that you're no longer connected to your heart. So when you have a really big feeling moment, and we all have these moments, and you sort of like forget about the present and you're just in the feeling, you're in the feeling, in the feeling, in the feeling, the goal is to come back to ourselves, and then we can come back and look at the feelings and why they're happening. So in the Big Heart Journey, we look at these three things, which are, I'm going to just pull up my slides. So we emotionally separate, we emotionally regulate, and then we connect and calm. So these are kind of the like fancy terms for it. We want to help our children emotionally separate from the big feeling that's happening. So there's a big meltdown. We want to get them out of the feeling before we start going down the dark hole. And this happens for all of us. You have one thing happens and you can sort of steamroll down into the bottom, and then you're really, really, really in it, right? So what we want to do is we want to emotionally separate in those moments from the feeling. So I'm going to give you some ways to do that today. And then the second thing we want to do is emotionally regulate. So we want to come back to the present, and we use meditation techniques, we use breathing, we use connecting ways in those moments for children to come back and really connect to their heart. And then the third thing we do is we connect and calm. So connecting and calming is basically just doing an exercise which connects in that moment. So I really believe that there are always ways to connect through disconnect. And even when it feels like, it's like a mess, there is always room for connection. So if we think about, if we have a big feeling, and so our children are having a big feeling, and they're up here. This is where the big feeling lives. And we want them to be down here, which is where like connection and calm and quietness live, right? But there's a big space between here and here. So as we all know, we can't get to quiet and calm from screaming and big feelings. Lily, are you leaving us? Okay. So our job as caregivers for children is to help them move down the ladder. So in these big feeling moments, we want to help them move down the ladder to quiet and calm. And how we do that is through various different techniques that we can use. And in the Big Heart Journey, we have we have games that we use in those big feeling moments, and then we have breathing that we use, and then we have ways to connect. So those are the 3 different things. So the one that seems to be the most effective. Now, there's been tons and tons of research done on the benefits of meditation for kids on the spectrum. And that they did one study where in meltdown moments, they had kids think about the bottoms of their feet. So they call it the bottom of the foot study. And in those moments, they're having a big feeling. And when you focus on the bottom of your feet instead of the big feeling, there was the big feelings went away quicker, there was more regulation, and there was less violence in those moments. So, and I think this is very applicable. I mean, when I'm in a big feeling, it's like focus on what's actually happening, focus on, you can do the game where like, how many pink things do you see in the room? Like, what do you smell? What are you touching? These are all little bits of meditation that we add in. And like, meditation doesn't have to be sitting and breathing. Meditation is simply coming back to the moment, coming back to where we are in this second. So that's what I feel is really, really valuable, is providing little tiny exercises and games to come back to the moment, and practicing these exercises and games when you're not in the big feeling. So if we can help children know that when there's a big feeling, they get to decide how they move out of them. I mean, this is like the dream of life, right? We don't want to sit in the feelings. We don't want our kids to sit in them. We want to give them active ways to move out of them. And this works for kids on the spectrum, for kids not on the spectrum, for every single human. So in those moments, there's a big feeling happening. We're like, stop the feeling. We want them to be calm, right? And so in this moment, you are not a parent. You are a guide. I like to call it energy wizard. So your job is to shift the energy down the ladder till we get to calm. And one of the things that I find really works, and we've had lots of kids on the spectrum use this and lots of kids who are not, is called the banana technique. And it's totally ridiculous. Like, I believe that in those moments of big feelings, there's always room for laughter. There's always room for humor. And in that, if you can find that like little tiny bit, like even if it's like so small of like funniness or like, then there's a lightness to it. And then we can really help kids to emotionally separate, which is what we really, really want. So there's a meltdown. There's a big feeling. Don't use the word meltdown. So there's a big feeling moment. And in that moment, we want to help kids have an immediate response. So what you do is you act it out. This is what we do in the Big Heart Journey. So you act out being really angry, or you act out being really sad, or being whatever it is, some big feeling. So we play acting games and we act it out, and then we freeze, and then we have kids yell the word banana. So it seems so ridiculous, right? But what we want to do is train their brains to think like big feeling, banana. And saying banana is enough to emotionally separate from that big feeling, because it's so ridiculous. Because why would we yell banana when we're having a meltdown? And the thing is, they won't right away. But if you practice, if you play the game, the banana technique game, so you're just like, oh, let's play a heart hug game. That's what we call it. So, you're all like acting like you're really angry, and you do your angry walk, and then you're like, banana. So in that moment, when you practice it, you're teaching it so that when the real big feeling moments happen, eventually we're going to rewire our brains so that in the big feeling moments, you yell out something ridiculous like banana. Like, it makes no sense, but it does work. So what we've done now is we've emotionally separated. We have several different ways to do this in the Big Heart Journey, but that is one of them. And we do have videos. We have videos which will help you do this, so you're not just like, yell banana, but I'll actually like walk you through how this goes. So we've emotionally separated from the feeling, and now what we want to do is emotionally regulate. So in this moment, we do the banana breath, which is 2 little inhales through your nose, and you think of the word banana. So you're going banana, banana, and then you're breathing out yum. The word yum is in your head, and you're just going, so everybody always says, like, take a deep breath in and you'll calm down, take a deep breath in. But the reality of it is it's actually the out breath that helps to regulate our heart. So big breaths in are great. The big breath out will actually slow your heartbeat. And what we want in those moments is to slow the heartbeat so we can get closer to this nice little calm place over here. So we do the banana breath. You yell banana, and then you go right into the banana breath. So it's 2 in, 1 big out for the yum. And you want to be as big as you can. And again, you're practicing this. You're practicing this before the meltdown. So many times we got to keep practicing it. And then the third thing you do is you connect and calm. So once we've sort of stepped away from the emotion, reconnected to our own selves, then we want to connect to another human. And in the Big Heart Journey, we do a heart hug. And it's basically putting your hands on their hands, and you do a breath that goes in your heart and into theirs, which I can show you when in person or in an event, because you need another person there for this one. But basically what we want to do is come back to each other. And in that space, you can go back and find out what the big feeling is about, if that's appropriate for your child. If it's not, then there's just lots of different ways that we can connect in those moments. So and a lot of the time we do want to sort of like look back and see what triggered it, but that's totally, has to do with your own child and how that would look in that moment. But those are the 3 things that I feel like are most important. And I'm going to put those up again. Separate from the feeling with something ridiculous. And we have a whole bunch of ridiculous things. Try the banana one. Regulate. So you do a breath or a game to come back to your heart, and then you connect and calm. Again, the connecting and calm is a place for you to really come. You're finally getting down here, right? And so that's the kind of goal. You want to energy shift from here to here, and meditation can really, really help that shifting down space. Another thing we do is we play a game called Count It. And Count It is really, really good also for those big feeling moments. And what it is if you're having a moment of, unregulated feelings. And I would just want to say that we of course, in the Big Heart Journey, we love and accept all of the feelings. And in those moments, there's always a way to connect through them. So if you have a moment of unregulated feeling, you can play the heart hug game called Count It. Notice how everything is a game. I really believe that, like, if we just find like fun and games and all of this, then it won't feel those moments where there's like so many big feelings and you're just feeling, however it is that you're feeling about it. If we can find a lightness in there, and that's why we always call them games. But so Count It, basically you also practice this before the big feeling so that it becomes something that you know that you do. It becomes part of the routine. The goal is to have a routine around all of this. So basically you hold up fingers and count the fingers, and whatever stage your child is at, whatever, however they are functioning, you can do this differently for your kid. We really, really want to amplify that. However your kid is, there is a version of this that we can do with them. So basically it's counting the number of fingers that we're holding up, and then when you put your hands in your heart, you have them say, I love my heart, or they just put their hands in their heart, or however this looks. So they're 7, 8, I love my heart, 10, 1, I love my heart. So basically all we're doing, we're emotionally separating from the feeling, totally focusing on something else, connecting to our own hearts. And through then, we can connect and calm to each other, come back and look at that feeling. And of course, this works differently for all children. And there are so many different things that we can do to get these 3 steps in. Like there's lots of different ways. I had a kid last week who's he is 11 and he's on the spectrum, and he came to one of our Zooms and he said, Tess, I found a new thing to do when I get big feelings. And I said, what is it, Hunter? And he said, I draw. And then he pulled out all of these drawings that he'd done. And he said, I feel a big feeling. And he said, I know that I want to do something about it. So I get out my pencil crayons and I draw. And he said, it helps me feel calm. And so it's these little things, right? It's adding little moments in, like what is it that your kid needs to find their calm, and how can we help facilitate that journey to get from here to here. So I really think that I believe that this kind of work is quite magical, and I find it very, very exciting to really get to know children, and to get to know what they're good at, to get to know what they love, to get to know what makes them happy. And in finding those little moments, if you can add that into the big feeling times, then that will help them come back to their hearts, and then from there find the calm. So I just think it's I'll tell one more story. So we had a little girl who was really afraid to ride her bike. She's on the spectrum as well. She's so afraid. She said, I don't want to ride my bike. And but she had a new bike, and for months and months she wasn't going to get on her bike. And then she came to a Big Heart Journey, and we did a strong tree meditation. And that's basically like helping kids find their strong tree roots, and they stretch up and they shake and their roots are still strong, and it's a whole like dance thing. And then they come back to their heart and they say out loud, I am a strong tree. And they say it and they say it and they say it. And Miley finished the Zoom session we had, and she said, I'm ready to ride my bike. And they sent me a video of her, riding down this laneway going, I am a strong tree. I am a strong tree. And I think that this is what's so exciting about it, is that we don't know what's going to resonate with any kid, and we don't know what's going to stick. But if we throw enough different like ideas and games and like, affirmations, then something will. And we don't know that little tiny thing can have like a huge impact. So now Miley is like, I'm a strong tree, and I'm the kind of person who rides a bike. And she just got on that bike. And now when she's nervous, she says, I am a strong tree. I am a strong tree. And it's something to hang on to in those moments. So, I mean, I could go on for a long time about the benefits of meditation and mindfulness, not only for kids on the spectrum, but for all children. And I just believe that through all of this, it's really important for caregivers to also have little tiny moments where you're, taking care of your own self. And I call these little mini vacations. So I teach this to the Big Heart parents in my group, where, if your kid is having a big feeling and you're just feeling like exhausted and you don't know if you can, take another minute, you go on a mini vacation. So you actually like emotionally separate yourself from the moment, and you take a breath in, and at the top between your inhale and your exhale, there's like, I call it a vacation, but there's like a little space, and in that space there's like nothingness. Like it's just like there's a calm every time between your inhale and your exhale. So the idea is to take an inhale and hang out in that calm for a second and fill that calm. Like pick 3 things that make you feel really, really happy. So you just like inhale, and then for me it's like ocean and spaghetti and my dog, and then you let it out. And inhale, ocean, spaghetti, my dog. And you're just like flooding your brain with like 3 things that make you feel real good. And then you exhale. And just like taking, like just doing like 3, 4, 10, however many breaths you need to to give yourself a mini vacation to emotionally separate so that you're not pulled into whatever big feelings are happening. And in that space, then you can come and you can be the connect, you can be the calm, you can be the like funny in that moment. But if you don't, put on your own life jacket, then that's not possible. And I really believe in like you got to put on your own life jacket out there. So I'm so grateful to be part of this program today with Autism Canada. I love Autism Canada. I love what you do. Thank you for this Sharing the Spectrum conference. I'm very grateful that you asked me to speak. I would love to find out more about your kids and find out how I can support them. If you have any questions at all, you can let me know below or feel free to reach out to me. I will also be sharing my email there. You can check out the Big Heart Journey and what we're offering. If you ever wanted to try something out with us, you can always try the program, see if it works for your kid. If it doesn't, that's okay. And if there's any way that I can support you, I really believe in really getting to know a child and a family and just finding out what they need. So please let me know. I'm always here to support you. Thank you for all that you do for the kids in your life. I'm just forever in awe and grateful for you. So thank you. Thank you to Autism Canada for having me. I really, really appreciate it, and have a great day.